Black Desert Online is an MMORPG recently released in the West for North America and Europe. I've personally had a great time playing the game over the past week, and I'm finally starting to get a good understanding of how it works. There are, however, thousands of people that are intrigued by the game, but don't understand it well enough to make the decision as to whether this is a game they want to buy. So in this video I'm going to try to expand your knowledge about Black Desert by presenting you with 50 facts about the game. Black Desert is a sandbox MMO, which is the complete opposite to a game like World of Warcraft, which is a theme park MMO. The difference between a sandbox game and a theme park game is basically that a sandbox doesn't put you on rails. After you've done the tutorial, it's up to you to decide what you want to do, whereas theme park games take you on a ride and have more of a linear progression. The game tells you what to do and you follow along. This is why I facepalm whenever I see people compare Black Desert to WoW. It's like comparing apples to oranges. A more accurate comparison would be to something like EVE Online. Black Desert is completely open world. You can travel from one side of the map to the other without hitting a single loading screen or invisible barrier. To get a horse, you need to go out into the world with some capturing rope and a lump of sugar, and actually capture the horse yourself in a fun little mini-game in which you wrestle and feed the horse to gain its trust. Black Desert was initially released in December 2014 in Korea as a free-to-play game. The main difference between the Korean and Russian versions of Black Desert and the Western version is that on Korea and Russia you can buy power with real money through selling cash shop items on the marketplace for in-game currency, whereas you can't do that in the West. In other words, the Korean and Russian servers are pay to win, and the Western servers are not, although you can buy pets to loot for you, which some people consider pay to win. Every building in this game serves a purpose. Whenever you find a building with a closed door, that usually means you can purchase it for player housing, storage, crafting, and much more. To visit another player's house, just walk up to the door, select the house you want to visit from the menu, and just walk in. There's no loading screen or anything like that. There's two types of fishing in Black Desert: AFK fishing, in which you leave your character to slowly fish until their rod breaks, or active fishing, where you wait until you've got a bite, hit the spacebar and take part in a little mini game to catch the fish. Active fishing is about 2 or 3 times faster than AFK fishing. If you die out in the world, you actually lose about 2% of your experience. At low levels this isn't a big deal, but at high levels it's like wasting 15 to 30 minutes. You can't, however, de-level by dying over and over, and you also don't lose XP from dying to summoned bosses or guild wars. Once you hit level 45, you can attack and be attacked by other players outside of towns and cities. Killing or attacking another player will give you negative karma. If you get too much of this, you can't enter towns or cities. You can get rid of your negative karma by grinding mobs. Typically, someone will only kill you for negative karma if you've pissed them off. You can avoid getting negative karma from killing someone by joining a guild and declaring war on other guilds. Members of warring guilds can then fight till their heart's content without any penalties or experience loss. Questing in Black Desert doesn't give you leveling experience, it instead gives you inventory space, energy, contribution points which are used to set up your trading empire, and some pieces of gear. There's over 10,000 quests in this game, many of which are hidden until certain prerequisites are met, either through gaining knowledge, a certain level, or playing the conversation minigame with certain NPCs. You can build your own boat in this game, explore the ocean with it, do some deep sea fishing, which is different to regular fishing, or go whale hunting. Pearl Abyss, the developers of Black Desert, actually created their own custom game engine just for this game. In doing so, they were able to create the game how they wanted to, without being restricted by the limitations of using a third-party engine. Unlike most MMOs, there is no level cap in Black Desert. You instead have a soft cap of level 50, at which point it takes much longer to level up. At this point though, most people focus on gearing and slowly leveling up through dailies and guild quests. Some of the classes are gender locked, such as Giant, Ranger, Sorceress, Tamer, and a few others. Some classes, however, are not. For example, the Witch is a female wizard, the Valkyrie is a female warrior but plays kinda differently, and the Kunoichi is a female ninja. Black Desert has some of the most in-depth character customization you'll ever find in an MMO. Almost every aspect of your character can be fine-tuned. You can have tattoos, control the amount of curls in your hair, and even change the pattern of your pupil. Despite the character creation being good, it's limited based on your class to make sense with the lore. For example, all wizards are old men, rangers are all young females, and if you want to be a guy in his mid-30s, you need to play a warrior. Personally though, I hope they take away some of these limitations in the future. The game has an active day-night cycle, and between the hours of 10 PM and 7 AM, mobs become aggressive and deal more damage, thus rewarding more XP when killed. Nighttime in Black Desert is truly dark. If you're out questing, you should equip a lantern to help you see where you're going. Gearing in Black Desert is a lot different to most MMOs. Instead of replacing your gear a lot, you keep the same items for a long time and upgrade them through item enhancement. There are rare best in slot items that drop from bosses, but due to the drop rate being so low, it's best to upgrade more common items rather than just hoping that your best in slot will drop. Each town in the game has its own localized storage known as a warehouse. This is shared between all of your alts. This means if you put something in your storage on character A, you can then switch to character B and use the item that character A deposited in the storage. Hence why you pick a family name when starting Black Desert. All of your characters are in the same family, so it makes sense that they share storage and items, right? Gear in Black Desert doesn't have level requirements and doesn't become soulbound to your character like in most MMOs. This means if you wanted to level an alt, you can take off the armor from your main character, put it in your storage and use it on that level 7 ranger you just made. There's over 1,000 unique characters in this game that are fully voice acted. Different in-game regions have different accents. People from Calphian speak British English, Balanos and Serendia citizens speak American English, Medea citizens speak Australian English, and I've also seen a few dwarven-looking people that speak Scottish. Black Desert has mounted combat, but it's much more effective on ranged classes such as witches and rangers. You can do it with melee classes, but they're not quite as good at it. In Black Desert, your guild can own cities, get guild housing, and own a guild elephant which people can stand on and throw spears off by winning castle sieges. Once per week at a certain time, the 3 castles currently in the game will open up for all guilds to try and capture. These battles could last quite some time and only end once the defending guild destroys the attacker's siege tower, or an attacking guild wipes out the defending guild's camp. For smaller guilds that don't want to compete in the castle sieges, they have the ability to capture nodes with a feature called Node Wars. Nodes in Black Desert are basically areas which resources can be farmed, such as farms, mining quarries, and fields. Once a guild owns a city or node, they earn a percentage of the money generated by it through taxes. Development of Black Desert initially started in 2010, but the existence of the game wasn't made public until 2012. You can equip your horse with various pieces of armor that also help increase its speed, control, and a few other stats, as well as looking cool. The maximum guild size in Black Desert is 100 members. To reach this size, you need to do guild quests and other activities together to unlock more space. It took a team of 15 people 4 months to translate 2.5 million words of dialogue for the Western release of this game. There's a lot of RNG in Black Desert, from upgrading your gear, breeding 2 horses together, and even the drops you get from mobs. There are a few RNG protection mechanics in the game, however that still won't entirely stop you from praying to the RNG gods. At level 56, which isn't currently available in the West, you unlock your class's Awakening weapon. This drastically alters how your class plays and makes you much more powerful. Outside of some major towns and cities, you'll find a dueling arena which flags you for PvP when you step inside. There's no penalty for dying, your gear doesn't take any damage, and you can instantly resurrect. This is a good place to practice PvP. Once you pass level 45, you'll get daily boss summon scrolls. These can be done solo or in a group and reward you with stones that are used to upgrade your armor, as well as a chance at a rare weapon or armor drop. There's a few world bosses that wander around some areas that require an average group of 40 players or a highly geared group of about 25 players to be killed. These bosses drop some of the best gear in the game. Obviously, with such a sought after loot table, multiple guilds will be hunting these guys down, and a lot of world PvP will surround these bosses. On the Korean version of Black Desert, there's an open world, giant, multi-floored dungeon beneath the desert that only the most well-geared and hardcore players will be able to fight through. The mobs are incredibly dangerous and it's recommended to go with a group. We should see this content in the West in a few months. There is one piece of instanced content in Black Desert called the Eternal Battlefield. This is a 40 vs 40 PvP battleground in which you don't lose XP for dying. There's also 3v3 competitive arena mode with rankings for the best teams. Currently this content is only out in Korea and Russia, but should come to the West in a few months. This game has climbing mechanics, which is actually pretty rare for an MMO. It's not Assassin's Creed or anything, but you can climb ladders, vault over walls, and pull yourself up onto buildings. You can hire workers to go out into the world and farm many different resources from the nodes that I mentioned earlier. All you need to do is provide them with a place to live and feed them plenty of beer, and they'll deposit the gathered materials into your storage. After you've sent your workers out, you can physically see them out in the world working at the location you've sent them and carrying your resources back and forth. They also level up and learn new skills. Black Desert doesn't have player-to-player trading. At first this seems like a bad thing, but it completely destroys any chance of gold sellers allowing people to illegally buy in-game currency. The only items that can be traded are potions. As your guild levels up through guild quests, the guild leader has the ability to spend points on active and passive abilities that affect everyone in the guild. For example, increased attack power, or for those of you that don't like fighting, increased fishing skills. Black Desert has a very comprehensive crafting system. There's 8 professions: gathering, processing, cooking, alchemy, horse training, fishing, hunting and trading, each of which can be used to earn money. You can craft anything from food, planks of wood, weapons and armor, furniture for your player house, fishing boats and much more. Black Desert has an in-game menu for checking where you stand on the rankings. It covers anything from all of the professions to wealth and the most combat experience. These rankings are, however, only local to the channel you're on, but gives you a pretty decent idea of where you stand amongst the average player. So there it is guys, 50 facts about Black Desert. There's actually quite a lot of other things that I didn't have time to mention, but I hope this video gave you a decent idea of what to expect in this game. Like I said at the start of this video, Black Desert isn't comparable to games such as WoW, Terra, Guild Wars or ESO because it's not an MMO of the same genre, and I can't stress that enough. Anyway, if you're currently playing Black Desert, then let me know your experiences with the game so far in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, you take it easy, and I'll see you again really soon. Oh fuck, I haven't even drank my tea. I bet my tea's going cold. Yeah, it's fucking cold. Great. This is what happens when I play Black Desert. I just lose track of time, just kind of get in the grinding mood, and then I forget about everything else.